Welcome back to this third part of our virtual class where we're looking at the link between politics and economics. We've seen, looking here at an election map of the United States, that there are red states, the Republican states, and blue states, or in this case the counties. Here we've got the view for all the states. And we've also seen that the red states are very much laissez-faire, as are the blue states, but that in the blue states, economic intervention on behalf of the government is more accepted for the Democrats, whereas the Republicans do not want any type of interference at all. These red states, these are areas that really favor no intervention at all. Small government, the smaller the better. We've also seen that the economic powerhouses, or these regions in the states, vote mainly Democrats, whereas the more poor regions vote Republican. So this is a bit of a paradox, because the poorer regions here in the states profit from the wealth generated by the blue parts. So there are two definite two countries in the United States, where you've got the red states and the blue states being the richest and actually being more social and solidary with the poorer red states that do benefit somewhat from the generosity of government. So despite the fact that they resent government and want small government, they actually benefit more from having a larger government than the blue states. So that truly is a paradox. What we find, to summarize, is United States laissez-faire with limited government intervention for the Democrats when they're in charge, as we have now with Obama, who has to deal with a more Republican-led Congress. When we now move to the UK, we also find that there are two main parties there. We've got the Labour Party. The colour here is red, symbol is the rose, as we find here, and it's a definite socialist party. So, as a socialist party, they're very much in favour of government intervention. Not all the time, because it's not old Labour, we now call it New Labour, the so-called third way. It's not hardcore capitalism, it's not hardcore socialism, it's the middle road, the ideal road in between, the third way, which is a mixed form of free trade capitalism, but with some social adjustments. Government can step in to make sure that the rough edges of capitalism are a bit softened. Main names to remember here are Tony Blair and the Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Both were PM in the 90s and the 2000s. But now, after last elections, the Conservative Party is now again in control. Their colour is blue and their symbol is a torch or a tree, and we've got a picture here of the current Prime Minister, David Cameron. Being Conservative, he's in favour of small government, so more like the Republicans in the United States. Small government, and because of the economic crisis, David Cameron has made huge budget cuts in the UK. Some people have tried to attack this policy of curbing costs and saying that in fact he was misusing the economic crisis to go for an ideological agenda, which is, for Conservatives, big government is bad, small government is better. So you use the excuse of the economic crisis to cut in government services. David Cameron is with the Conservatives in a coalition government, which is very uncommon for the UK, working together with the Liberal Democrats. The Liberal Democrats, or Lib Dems as we call them, are some kind of mixed form between the third way approach of socialist Labour and the Conservatives. But there are enough points of convergence, seemingly, for the Lib Dems and the Conservatives, or the Tories as they're also called, for the Tories and the Lib Dems to function together in a government that, as said, is now trying to cut the budget to get the UK economically back on the rails. In the next part of our virtual class, we'll try to zoom in on the concept of liberalism and try to relate it to what we've heard so far about UK and US politics.